Ready, sir. Have you gone to the bathroom? Do you have something to drink? Do you need
Are
anything?
you ready? I have water.
Let's get ready to rumble. Oh, what
I
did you
have
say?
water.
Nice. I'm ready when you are, buddy.
Yeah, right. Action.
And action. Action. Hey,
Hey.
everybody.
Oh, go ahead.
Hey, no, I
No,
was doing what you're doing. No,
no,
no.
no, no. I did last time. You can do
What
it.
are we doing? Yeah, hi, everybody. Welcome to our second live pre-recorded podcast
Yeah.
for, I don't even know what to say. I should really rehearse this. For game design community working together to make amazing games. I am Johnny, the what am I? Game designer of Lazy Goblins
Slash artist. Slash
slash
3D
artist
artist.
because we don't have one. So if any of you are really interested in trying to get into the industry and would love to work with us, please submit your resume. Yeah, that's pretty much all I got for my intro. And here's Cody.
Hey guys. My name is Cody. I'm the programmer for Lazy Goblins. And yeah, I think that says about it, all of it. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, we don't need to keep introducing ourselves in the sense of like what we do, like
Well, in case
telling them about
anybody
how we
new
met.
jumps in. So
Yeah,
if
then
like
you got to go
somebody
to video
jumps in at
one
like
where
episode
we
5,000 and they don't know, we gotta introduce it.
no, you have to no, they have to watch the first video.
But what if they jump in at another one? Like they see the title and they're like, "Oh, I want to hear about that," and they're like,
Oh,
"Wait, who are
dang it,
these
that's a good
guys?"
idea. Okay, yeah. So we are I guess we're the co-founders. We're the founders, the people that created Lazy Goblins, and
Yeah.
we are in the process of making a game from the bottom up to the top. And you, our audience, are going to go on that journey with us as you keep us on track and make sure we don't actually make this game. Because my goal this week was to actually get some texturing done, but learning texturing, I've never used Blender before, so I've been trying to learn texturing in Blender, and I'm new to it, so it's taking me a little longer because as we've talked about, like one of the things about this is I have a normal job that I have to go to, unfortunately. So I don't have as much free time to spend. So it's pretty much my weekends. Anytime I get home from work, anything like that, I try to jump into it as much as I can and sleep when I can. I try to get at least 6 hours because yeah. But that's other than that, it's all game stuff. That's kind of I don't know why I was rambling on about that. It's kind of boring. Sorry. But yeah, it's going to be a fun journey of us making a game together. As we've done before, we've been making games for quite a while together, I think. We haven't really released anything, so that's really the big goal.
Yeah, we haven't really. We've done like game jam games and our own little things, but that's
Yeah,
about
so we've
it.
been making games and working in Unity um, and making projects for probably 4 years, 3 years. I'd say 3 years pretty consistently, and I'd say 4 years like really getting into it. But we've been really trying to go hard this last year or so. So that's what this is all about, and we want to talk about how getting into the game industry and like any tips that we have. I mean, I haven't personally worked in the game industry. Cody has worked in the game industry, so we'll just kind of share with you guys, and hopefully we can all watch each other get into the industry as we go through this channel.
Yeah, we want to help each other out. We want to see each other grow.
Yeah, it's all about building a community. I am so excited, you guys. So what we're going to do is we're going to do it this week. We're going to do one every Friday. There's the plan. We're going to try to get on here every Friday. And we are going to just discuss topics that come up. We want to take questions. We have a Discord channel, so that way if you guys have questions when we're doing this, the goal is to get this to where we're filming live. Currently, we're not filming live, but that's where our goal is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what else do we want to say? We're gonna film live.
We're gonna try to
Talk
film
about
live starting next
games.
week. We're gonna talk about games. We're gonna talk about
Definitely.
stuff we've learned during the week. But
Stuff yeah, pretty much that's it. So I think, and then hopefully eventually we'll be doing this live, and the goal is to actually show you guys what we're doing while we're doing it. So like I can bring in stuff to Blender, things like that. Cody will be programming. We will talk about the script. Right now we're just trying to get our first level done, and we haven't really got there yet. So we're hoping to push that harder this for me on my side this week, and see if we can get that up and running. So
get
that next
to
week
it.
we can
No.
actually show you guys. I know. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Makes you feel better. I really don't want to be doing what I am doing. I mean, I enjoy my job and all that stuff, but I mean, it's still a job. So
Yep, that's true.
the other day. So I think this week, what were we going to talk about this week, Cody? What was our plan?
So this week, I'll just talk about a little bit of what I've been doing and trying to improve on. And I have been trying to improve on writing cleaner code and keeping it more so organized and everything. So, cause like clean code, I've been reading the book Clean Code and then watching a lot of talks. I think I mentioned this last week with Uncle Bob, who's like the main like figurehead and guy that's pushing the whole clean code revolution and all that stuff. Guess it's not really a revolution. It probably should have just been happening from the start. But things happen and people don't really follow it too much. But the whole thing about it is a lot of the times after you get something done and working, you don't go back and clean it up and try to make it readable and organized because you got it working. Why mess with something that's not broken? And because you're scared of it actually breaking and taking more time to fix it, to get it back to working. But the point he makes, which is a really good point, is that if you take the extra time to go back and clean it all up and everything, it'll help you work at a steady, fast pace. And what that means is that over time, if you just don't go back and take the time to clean the code and all that stuff and make it organized and readable for other developers and all this other stuff, then eventually you're going to get to a point where you start slowly dropping off in how fast you work and how fast you can get things done because of how messy everything is. And if you change one thing in one part of the code, it breaks something in another part of the code. But if you take the time after you get stuff to work to always go back and organize it and clean it up, then you will keep a steady pace, which in the long run, you end up being faster than if you were to just get things working, move on to the next, get that working, move on to the next, get that working, move on to the next. Oh crap, this isn't working. Oh no, I changed that. Oh no, it breaks something over here. I got to fix all these things now. So, I mean, it's something to do to keep your productivity steadily at a steady pace instead of it's a marathon, not a sprint type of thing, right? Because it's going to take a while to make this game and you don't want to rush it and try to get done as fast as you can. You want to get it done at a steady pace to make sure that in the long run you won't have to waste time on it and fixing bugs or adding new features and stuff. So that's what I've been doing.
What you're saying is get stuff done quickly.
No.
Oh, no, that's not what you're saying. Good. Got it.
Take the time to be clean and organized.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. And so that's what I've been doing this week. And it's been really helping a lot. And it actually feels kind of good. when you look at, like, for our thing, I got the shooting working to how we want it, and I went in and I at first there was stuff in the update, and then there was stuff in a method. I took what was in the update, I made that its own method with a readable name, and then I looked in there and said, okay, what's this function doing? And I took other stuff that could be looped, like kind of grouped together to be their own method, and I extracted that out, put a readable name on it, a more like a descriptive name. And right now, I'm not caring how long these names are. I just want to get the point across. Um, but I try to keep it within like 5 words. But that way, if we're eventually like in the middle of the game, and we're like, you know what, the way we're doing the shooting right now, it's just not working. We should try to do it this way. Then it'd be a lot easier to go back and figure out what everything's doing, because I put everything that does something in its own little method, and I name that method and the variables accordingly to what they do.
Wow, so you've been really busy.
A little
Or at
bit.
least it sounds like you're doing a lot.
Yeah, it does sound like it. That's what I try to do. I try to sound like I'm doing a lot.
Yeah, that's pretty much all it's all about. Yeah, and I have been busy myself, but like I said, I've been trying to learn Blender, because one of the biggest things is, like we talked about, trying to make games. And one of the things that when you're an indie studio is you have to be flexible, right? Because you don't know what kind of stuff might happen or what you need. So we've tried to use like assets on the asset store, which are totally fine, and everything's great with that. But what we started finding was it wasn't fitting exactly the mold that we needed. So we really needed an artist. So me, I'm more of like the level designer, game designer, like keep track of the documentation, stuff like that, which I'm gonna get a little bit better on. Um, so like I worked on that, but I found that we were missing. That was the big part we were missing, was someone that actually can like model the stuff out for us and kind of customize the things that we needed to make our games work. So I just said, okay, well, I enjoy modeling. It's something I really liked in college when we went to art school for it. And I was like, well, I'm going to go ahead and just focus on that and try to get that knowledge for us so we can make more games and adapt them to what we need. And because we're trying to release more on like web games, the goal is to get a Nintendo Switch dev kit for us, and basically, I mean, if we can release on the phone, we're gonna work on possibly that, but mostly right now we're just focusing on like web design or web games and stuff like that. So I kind of tried to fill that void. So learning Blender has been like a new experience for me, and I've only been working in Blender. Oh my
It's a
gosh, like
whole new world.
it really is. It's bright and shiny, and there's so much. I had no idea. Did you know you can sculpt in it? I had no idea you could sculpt. You do everything.
That's cool.
You literally do like everything in Blender. You can sculpt in there. You can do texturing. You can do the animations. You can everything's done like in one stop shop. I mean, for simple stuff, obviously, if you want better textures and things like that, you're gonna have to take them out to like like render it out to like a Photoshop or something like that, so you can get the detail in there. But for the most part, you can pretty much get a lot of that in there. So it's pretty impressive. So there's a lot, and I've only been working in Blender for I don't know, like consistently like every day for like a month. So it's like not even a full month maybe, but there's a lot for me to figure out. So kind of working on that, which kind of leads me into our whole big topic today is motivation and staying motivated and how to do that, especially when you're a small team and you're working, because Cody works all the time. So
I'm working
how
right
to
now.
stay. Yeah, like, and like how to work on the dream, right? So my dream is to be an active studio where we don't have to work normal jobs. We can work this job, and that's what we have, So that's my dream, and making games would be just amazing. So, but in order to survive, you have to pay bills and make money. So I have to go to the normal job. So it's like, how do you stay motivated after working? Because I put in, I'm at work I work 8 hours plus an hour lunch, so 9 hours, and I drive, commute, all that stuff. Probably like 10 and a half hours I'm away. I sleep for 6.
Yeah.
And there's what? How many hours that leave me left? 10, 6. I don't know. Not that many. So basically, you just have to work off each other, I guess. I try to work off Cody. I try to personally just get the energy, which is not always the easiest. And just get in the zone. And sometimes, like the other day, I got home and I was like, I'm just done. I don't care. I'm over this. I'm so tired. I've been working like this whole week. And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna play a video game for a while. So I actually like just played some like Skyrim, I think, for like 45 minutes to an hour. Had some dinner, and then I was like, oh, I'm like pumped now. Like now I'm like ready to go. So I came in and worked on in Blender for like an hour and a half before I had to go to bed. So you just kind of got to find what it is that helps drive you. I mean, because I know a lot of people always say it's like, oh, it's the passion. Whatever you're passionate about, that's gonna give you energy. You're gonna go for it. But like life's realistic, and like of course my passion is this, and I would love to just wake up and do it every day. But that necessarily isn't going to mean that I can or have that energy to do it. And even if you're doing it every day, that doesn't mean you're going to have the passion and energy to do it every day. If I had like a whole day to just make games, I'd probably honestly work like 6 hours on it, and I'd probably do other stuff. Because you just can't sit and like work straight through and just constantly keep working. I'd probably work for a while, take a break, work for a while, and just keep coming back to it. I mean, I have all day, so I continuously just keep working.
Yeah.
But it's just hard to stay motivated. Any thoughts, Cody? See how this is really just a good back and forth.
Wait, what were we just talking about? No.
Yeah.
No.
Is this thing on?
It is it's super hard to stay motivated. And you shouldn't get discouraged if you feel demotivated because it happens. But I don't know. It is like I think it's harder to stay motivated when you have other stuff to do, right? Like you have to go to work and do, everybody has their own personal stuff they have to do. But having another job you have to do entirely on top of that, you just after all that's done, you kind of just don't feel like doing it, right? It's just like, well, I just did all this stuff. I really don't feel like doing what I essentially wanted to do. But it's one of those things where it's like you just got to push through it. So if you're feeling demotivated, just get on there and just start. Set a timer for 15 minutes and just take 15 minutes out of your day of demotivation and work on it. And if after that you still feel demotivated, then it's kind of a signal to just take a break because you also don't want to burn yourself out. We touched on that a little bit last one, but yeah.
Or you come over to our Discord channel and
True.
the Lazy Tavern and just talk to us and say, hey, what's going on? I'm kind of a little don't feel like it today. Like we'll be in there. Or someone will. That's the plan. Someone will be in there.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. As Cody said exactly. Like, so the thing is like when you said don't feel bad about it if you're demotivated. That is the complete opposite for me. I feel so shitty. Like if I get demotivated and I just don't do anything, I'm like, what is wrong with me? I thought I wanted to do this. Obviously, I don't. I can't even like relax for a day. This is like, what is going on? And like that's who I am. Like I'm that guy that's like, just I can't believe I just took a break. What was wrong with me? And then I go to bed and I'm like all mad. And then the next day I gotta go to work and I'm like mad in the car at the way to work. I'm like, screw this job. Why am I even going to this job? Oh, because I need money. Ah, dang it, I should be making games to make money. Then it's like, well, why did you take yesterday off? I don't know. And then it's like, by that time, it's like, I just start crying. I'm just like, I just want to make games. So like that's just how I am. Like it, like so it's for some people it's like, oh, you gotta get this, you gotta do that. But I think what I found that because we're all different, but I think what really works for everyone is talking, and that's the whole point of the community, and that's why we have the Discord channel, and that's why we're doing these things because to show you guys that you're not out there alone. Like, oh man, am I the only one that just this sucks? Like, I'm trying so hard. I gotta go work my job doing this thing and whatever it is. I gotta come home and I want to just work on this project. And like when I'm at work, I'm thinking about the game. I'm writing out other things for the game. Like I'm writing out our next game that I want us to work on. Like I'm doing all these other things, but then you get home and you're just like, oh, I can't. I need to take a break. Let me take a break. And then you fall asleep and you wake up and you're like, oh crap, I fell asleep all night. It's 6 a.m. I gotta go to work.
Yeah.
So it is hard. It is hard to stay motivated, and it's hard to not take it out on yourself if you're that kind of person. But that's why, like, if you just get in here, I found that if I start talking to someone, like, or if I start listening to like my favorite thing on YouTube, or if I start listening to like some great music or something motivation, or like one of the biggest things that I started finding is if I look at my role models on like social media, like I like to call him my dad, Dwayne Johnson. Like if I just look at whatever my dad's up to, and just see what he's been up to and just see how he's motivated, how he keeps going, and he'll post something like, "Oh, going on no sleep, getting this done." It's like, okay, that's how you have to do it, and it pumps me up. I get excited. I'm like, okay, he's getting no sleep. I have bedtime at 10 o'clock, but still, I'm gonna stay up till 10:01 and get this done.
Yeah.
So you kind of just gotta find what it is that makes you feel like that sense of like, I got to push through this wall, because it really is just a wall. Because I find that like even when I'm discouraged and don't want to do it, I push through that wall and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna do it. 15 minutes goes by, and then I stop looking at the clock. And now I'm just working, working, working. I'm like, oh my god, I've been working for like 3 hours. I had no idea. So Cody is right about that. Just try to set a timer and just get going. Just start doing something.
Yeah. Pretty much.
And then call your best friend Cody, who's like, I'm like, what are you up to? I just been working on contracts all day, just programming, making games all day long. I'm working on our project finally. What are you doing? And you're like, all of that too now. I was gonna go do something else, but I guess not. Jeez. Thanks, buddy.
Guess not. Gosh.
Yeah. He's like, oh, you just worked? Oh, that's all. You only worked one job today? That's crazy. I worked a lot more. So yeah, but it's hard. I mean, and so Cody, how is it for you? Like, I've wanted to ask you, like, honestly, like, what is it? What's your little? Do you have a secret or trick or something you do? I mean, because you work on multiple projects and our project, so how is the you keep just going? Other than not the, I don't want the choose ball answer. Well, I just want to make games. If my dream is to make games, that's how I get there. It's all about the making. Yeah, I know all that. You know. So what
Um.
is it?
Well, I just want to make games. No.
I knew it.
It. I think that's also what makes it tough too, is that I'm working on multiple projects. So I'm like doing this stuff like all throughout the day. And of course our stuff like kind of comes last cuz I got to get paid first in order to do, the stuff I actually want to do. But since I've been like staring at Unity and code all day and then I'm finally done and I get to our project, I'm just like kind of don't feel like doing this anymore today. So that's one thing that makes it hard. But I think kind of like what you were saying about like listening to like motivational speeches and stuff. Sometimes I like to go on Twitter and just see what other people have posted on their game dev indie dev hashtag, and sometimes that will give me some motivation as well and like
So do
some
you find that
inspiration.
because you are working on so many different projects, do you find like you try to take more breaks in that sense then? Are you like, okay, I got to take a break because I've just been working on it? So do you find like that kind of like affects you in that way at all?
Yeah, a bit.
Okay.
Because it's a new project, but the environment's still the same. Um, Still looking at code, still programming, and especially with the programming, because that's a like a big mental thing. Takes a big mental toll on your body. Um, so Sorry, I'm reading some documentation right now. But
Wow.
so that
Sorry, guys. I'm filling up my Amazon cart right now. What was it?
yep. But that does take a toll on like the mental aspect, because at the end of the day, because usually I'll start around 8, 9 o'clock, really start getting into things and just sitting down around 10, and then I'll
Like
do
you're
it.
saying in the morning? So
Yeah,
like you start at like, okay.
I'll do it like up until usually when I kind of finish all the like contracts and everything and work I need to do for the day is around 9, 10 at night. So 12 hours of just Unity programming, like thinking, trying to figure out how to do stuff. It just takes a huge toll. And then afterwards, it's like, okay, now I finally have time to go and work on the game we're working on. And I'm just like, well, I've been doing this all day. I think it would, I think I should just take a break, because I really like, because I'll open the project and I'll just sit there looking at it, like I'll just sit there blankly just looking at it. I won't even know like really what to do, what to start on, even though I know like, okay, I gotta do this still, I gotta do this. I just it I'll just it's almost like writer's block, also, I guess, like creative block.
Okay.
Like
Yeah.
you're just sitting there and you're like, okay, I know what I gotta do, but I also don't at the same time.
Right. Right.
And then it takes more time to just like, okay, let me get into the mode of this game. Because that's another thing too, like switching between different projects and games. It's like you have to
Mhm.
go from one way of thinking to another, because you got to get readjusted to that project and how it works. I guess something that
Right.
probably will start helping is that I've been doing the whole clean code thing. So hopefully I'll just be able to jump in and know what everything's doing. Because looking at code you wrote a week ago is basically looking at somebody else that wrote it.
That's
So
true.
uh, that'll definitely be a good thing, because you forget everything that you did. It's like, did I really do that? Why did I do that? But by keeping it clean, hopefully that will actually help with the transition of one project to another.
Right. Yeah. And so basically, I mean, you're doing a full day's work essentially, like in coding constantly. Like so all day, it's that for you. And so just like it's a constant, like you said, you don't really get to escape that project. You got to keep looking at that same project.
Yeah.
Yeah. So definitely, I mean, it's definitely tough, and like that's the thing. Like even me, like working my job, it's like you come home and like I've also learned, like you gotta learn little tricks about yourself. Like I learned I can't sit down. I have to sit down in my desk chair in front of my computer. If I go on my couch and I put on a show, it's all over. I'm gonna be on that couch for like 3 hours, and then
Yeah.
I'm gonna be like, it's like 8 o'clock now because I get home roughly about 5:30. So I get off work at 4:30. I get home about 5:30 with traffic and everything. So basically, I'll sit there till like 8:30, and I'll be like, I better do something. I gotta go to bed in like 2 hours. So I can't do that anymore. So you gotta learn tricks like that about yourself in order for you to help yourself.
Yeah, you definitely gotta find your tricks, because we'll eat dinner around 9ish, because I've also been taking online classes for web development, and those end at 9. So that's around the time we'll eat dinner. And I know that if immediately after, because when we eat dinner, we put a show on or something and watch it. But I know if I go past like 3 episodes, like 30-minute episodes, then I'm just gonna stay there. So if I do have to get stuff done, I'm like, okay, I gotta get up now before I just totally, just stop, shut my brain down and stop.
Yeah.
But Yeah, you definitely got to learn kind of what works for you and your patterns as well. Because once I started noticing that, I was like, okay, so if I gotta get work done after we eat dinner, probably watch 2 shows, and then I gotta stop because once I get to the third, I'm done.
Yeah, it's tough. Like it's really tough. But I think and then I mean, to be honest, like if we're really talking about motivation, what motivates us to work on games is what pulls us into doing it is the fact that we want to do it as careers and we want to make that transition and make that happen. So I think like even though like yeah we're exhausted, like I mean we're all exhausted and everything else, and like I mean the goal would be to go work a job, come home and get relaxed and play a game or do whatever, or play D&D or do something or whatever you want to do to relax with your friends or family. But
Yeah.
I mean, it's not as simple as that because in order, and that's the thing. It's like all about the payoff, right? So
Hmm.
at the end, we work our butts off, and we spend 10 years doing it this way, and then all of a sudden, hopefully, it just works out and we make it, and then we'll be like, okay, that was worth it. Like, I mean, yeah, it was tough, but now we're here and we've achieved our goal. Now we can rest. Even though I really hope it doesn't take 10 years. Like, I don't know what I'll do.
Hopefully not.
So,
Hopefully like 9.
yeah, like 10 and a half would be fine. It's probably my max.
No, we'll get
So
it.
I mean, yeah, and I think that's the thing. It's like what's the driving force behind it is we'll get it. We gotta go. We gotta get it. We gotta get it. We gotta try. Because I think at the end, you don't want to be like, yeah, I don't want to be the person that's like, oh, I don't want to talk about it forever. And say I want to do this. I want to do this. I'm trying to do actions to get it done, even though it's difficult.
Yeah, definitely you can't just talk about it because a lot of people will do that. They'll just they'll just talk about doing it, right? Or they'll get an idea and they'll be inspired and they'll work on it and they'll go months and then they get a no idea, so they cancel the other idea because this idea is so much better. Which of course we've done that too. I mean, everybody falls
I've
in
never done that. Have you done
everybody.
that?
Yeah. What
Yeah,
was the
we've
game
done
we're
that.
supposed to be building before this? We tried to build a pirate one. We
That's
could have went back to that, but we're like, no, let's come up with a new idea. But
yeah, good
but
point.
I mean, everybody falls into that trap. You just gotta know when that trap is coming. You gotta see it. You gotta get that trap detection skill up, right? Um, but yeah, you gotta not do that as well, because especially if you're like so far into one project already. I mean, you should have already been testing it with people. Like once you have a good like at least level working, you should have been testing it with people to see if it's actually fun and whatnot. But I mean, even then, you could still change stuff to make it fun. So I mean, it's all about just following through with it too, because there are a lot of people that talk out there. There's a lot of people that say that have so many ideas and they're great ideas and they're $1 million ideas, but those ideas mean nothing unless you could actually follow through and execute on them, which is the hardest part.
Yeah, and that's why they say it's all about like the people that work hard. They reap the reward. Like of what they've done, their accomplishment. So and we've gotten stuff, and that's kind of like why we're like we're talking about finding what it is that motivates you, and that's one of the things that like us doing this podcast. Like for me, this is way out of my comfort zone. Like we've tried this before. We've also tried making a game every week or month.
Every month, we tried to make a game a month for a year.
And like I started having issues, right? Like I started like I can't do this. How am I supposed to do this? I can't make a game every month. I don't have the
Yeah.
time to do that. And like I think it's on my part. I think it's finally like I just started maturing and being like, and I think honestly, it took me working a real job that I didn't want to work to be like, okay, I don't want to do this for the rest of my life. I want to do something else that I really enjoy. So I need to put in the effort and I need to put in that time. So it's kind of re-kickstarted it for me. And even me working in Blender and not but not working on the project to get it to where I wanted it to be for this week for you guys, I feel guilty.
Yeah.
So it just inspires me to work harder, to improve, and like take less breaks, and do something after, and just keep going forward. So that way I don't feel like, because I don't want to. Sure, our last video had 4 views, whatever. It's not like I'm saying like, oh, or like fan, but you are a fan. So even if you're listening to this now in the future, whatever, you took the time to actually listen to it, like you're in that boat. You're with us. You're like, I'm here, and like I'm having the same struggle. How do you guys get through it? And it's just that final step and that final push. So for us doing this, starting a community, getting people talking, getting people involved, like that's helping me. And my goal now is every week, at least once a day, or not once a day, but like once a week, I want to get into our chat and say hi and see what's going on. Because you guys are what's inspiring me and keeping me going, because now I feel like I'm letting like the internet down. Like it's not just me and Cody. And I don't know how Cody is stuck by me for so much of this, and that's a big part, is your support. And that's what we want to do, is because Cody would be like, you got this. I'd be like, I can't do this game a month anymore. And like, even though it's like 2 weeks in, I'm like, I can't. Dude, I'm overwhelmed. I got this job. And he's like, okay, cool, no problem. Let's just do this. What do you want to do? Say, you want to just make this game, but like we could take as long as we want. Okay, sure. And then we scrapped that game. Like, no, that's I don't want to do that game anymore. Let's try something else. I can't model all this stuff. I can't program that stuff. Can you do it? You do that. I'll just do the level design. Like we've gone back and forth, and Cody's been like a rock, and he's like just been there to help me like get through that. And so that's also a big reason why I and Cody wanted to start this, is because a lot of people don't have that rock. So now it's like my turn to pay it forward and be like, I'll be somebody else's rock and try to help them out. So, and that's just what it is. And like, so this is my motivation, like getting out of my comfort zone, responding to you guys, saying, okay, I'm going to get this done. It's not like I could just call Cody now and be like, hey, I don't want to do it anymore. Because all he has to do is get on the podcast the following week and yeah, Johnny decided not to do it anymore, guys. So looks like it's exactly what I feel.
Like it's just you and me.
Yeah. And then what will happen is that week someone's gonna call up Cody and be like, hey, so I've been watching you guys for like 6 months and I really love all your work. I just wonder if you want to come interview for a position with us. I'm like, son of a gun.
It's funny because actually, pretty actually, like to us, he's pretty popular.
One of the cool kids.
Yeah, one of the cool kids on YouTube. But his name is, I'm probably gonna butcher the last name. Matthew Palahi. I probably butchered that.
You got it. No, that's it. That's how you say it.
Yeah, but I was in his Discord channel. I pop in there every now and then. I haven't been able to recently because I've been so busy with everything. But I popped in there, what was it, a couple months ago, I think. And I was just talking and everything, and he recognized my name because at that time I changed it to Lazy Goblin Cody. And he was like, "Oh, hey, I remember you guys. You guys were doing the podcast. How's that ship game coming along?" And like, it just felt so bad to say, yeah, we kind of canceled that and stopped that and haven't done much for 6 months.
Wow, you should have just been like, what guy are you talking about? I'm a different guy. Yeah,
But yeah, I mean, you never know who's watching too. Some people can come by and listen and watch and stuff. But it does like make you kind of feel guilty in a way. It makes you feel like you have to keep going, because he said that he liked where we were going with it, and I was like, oh man. So
yeah, that's crazy.
But yeah, I mean, doing this podcast, hopefully we could keep it up. I think last time we did maybe like 2 months of it. So hopefully
Is that all?
I think so. Wow. I don't think we did too much of it. But hopefully we could keep this up and keep it going. I mean, there might be a time, like being realistically, where we have to miss a week. But if we can, see ahead of time, like, oh, we won't be able to do it on this Friday because we both got something going on, then we could probably, do like record 2 in 1 week or something and then just set YouTube to release it on that Friday or something.
Yeah, because it's coming out. Like I don't even care. I was telling my wife Katie, and I was like, yeah, I'm like, I don't care if I have to do it from my phone. Like, like I am doing this thing. Like this is not. I don't want that to happen again. Plus, like you said, you feel guilty already. Plus, it makes you look like you can't follow through. So they're like, "Oh, you're that guy and that started that YouTube channel. We're having you guys didn't finish. Oh, yeah. So you're looking to apply here, huh? No. So you're like, oh,
Yeah.
maybe. But also, like like you said, you never know who's watching. Like so I was watching this thing about Todd Howard, who's the big cheese over at Bethesda, and he was saying they were watching videos of people like that would do like of Skyrim when it first came out. They would make like mods and stuff like that. Well, this one person made like this huge battle scene with like I think like the Stormcloaks and
Mm.
like somebody else. I don't remember the Imperials or whatever. And they fought, and they actually called the person up that made that video and was like, "How did you do that? Because we don't even know how to do that."
That's
And the
cool.
guy explained it to him, and they hired him.
That's cool.
So it's about like it's about showing your work. It's about trying to do it and just staying motivated and keep it going. Like not every day is going to be easy, and that's when you have to get up and push through. So and
Yeah.
and like I think for me, I found that as long as I can do something small, like a nugget of a thing that day, at least when I go to bed, I don't feel guilty.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's not like I have to do 4 hours a day. But if I do something significant, like make an improvement, like okay in my head, I need to make all the assets tonight that we need for the level. Meaning like maybe a platform, maybe this, maybe that, like 5 things. Or like five, like draw out what I need, 5 things, whatever. If I get those done, I sleep so much better.
Mhm. Like,
So
not only that, but if I don't get something done, it's like if we said on the podcast, "Oh yeah, for next week we want to show you guys how, the grappling mechanic we have and, how the player can grapple onto stuff and move up. Spoiler alert, you could grapple on our next game."
yeah, oh yeah, yeah.
And move up
Dang it.
platforms and all this other stuff. If I said that and didn't do it, it we feel guilty for that. But also like internally, just between me and Johnny, if he's like, "Hey, it would be awesome if we could get this done to showcase it on the podcast," and I'll be like, "Yeah, I could try to get it done." And even even if I say I could try and I don't get it done, I still feel guilty.
Yeah, and that's what it's about. You gotta even if, and that's the thing is like Cody and I are working in a team of him and I, and that's not how everyone works. Sometimes it's just you and yourself. But you have to take it upon yourself to be like, okay, I'm my own check and balance. Then you know.
Yeah.
So, and that's like I said, the biggest thing is that's why we started the community, and I think I'm pretty sure Cody will put the link to the Discord in the channel, right?
Yeah, I've been putting it in the other one too.
Okay. So yeah, we'll have the link up. So I mean, if you guys want to jump on there and just subscribe, or I don't know how you get into it, but whatever, or subscribe to this, to our YouTube channel. We'll answer questions here too. We'll be here. Like I said, I'm gonna get on all our platforms at least once a week. I'm gonna deem that day like my social media day, and just kind of get on and see what's going on and
Yeah,
reach
I've
out to you
been
guys and say hi.
I've been trying to
Cody's pretty good about being on
jump
it
on
all
our
the time.
Twitter.
Or our Twitter.
Yeah, I've been trying to. We haven't really posted much, but if somebody like shows off something cool, I try to go in there and be like, "Oh, that's cool."
Nice.
But yeah,
Yeah.
it's not gonna be an easy thing to do. What we're trying to do, like, I mean, just in general, making a game is a hard thing to do from start to finish, and making one that's well received by others and people actually want to pay for and buy. But trying to make it your like full time thing, and so you can do that full time and possibly bring others on board later on. It's a huge undertaking. I think
Yeah.
even just building a community is a big undertaking.
So we thought, let's do it all at once.
Yeah, because we're so smart. What were you
We'll,
thinking?
we'll show them.
We might. Who knows? I hope we do.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's I think what one of the reasons why I think Cody and I both really get along so well in this whole endeavor is we have the same ideals in the sense that we're not trying to become like the trillionaires. We're just trying to support a community, make stuff happen, make it to where we can do this for a living and live comfortably in our means in the sense of paying our bills and just have a good time because that's what it's
Yep.
about.
Yeah.
Life's way
Pretty
too short to
much.
be worrying about all the other little things.
Yeah. I, I really could care less if I was a millionaire or not. Like that would be great, right? It would be a great addition to life and everything like that. But I my main goal is just to be able to support me and my family and mine and my future wife's kids and all that stuff. And that's all I want to do. I want to be able to do that comfortably and still have a little, money to have us go on vacations every now and then. Like, oh, I feel like, going to the beach. Okay, let's just go to the beach. And not only that, but doing being able to, do all that stuff with working and doing something that I like to do.
And that's the thing is like, so the reason why we bring up the money aspect of the whole thing is because you have to understand that you can't get into something like this for the money. Like, I think if you're starting to get into something like this for the idea of that I want to be a millionaire and I want to make the next Mario and just crush everyone, or even the next Stardew Valley and just blow all the charts, that's exciting. Yeah, your goal could be like, yeah, I want to make an amazing game, of course. But what will happen is if you're focusing solely on like I want to get in this to make a lot of money, your game and you are going to suffer because you're going to start compromising what you want to try to make money. You're like, okay, well, how can I put ads? Oh, okay, well, how can I do like a loot box and stuff instead? So it's like, and that's fine if that's where your mindset is. That's totally fine. I'm not trying to say anything against that or it's negative, but what I am saying is like you need to have a clear goal and a clear idea in your mind of what it is you're doing it for. And I think, like,
Yeah.
just like with anything, like people sometimes get into fields of work that they're like, oh, this makes really good money. I'm going to jump into that field of work. And then they get in that field of work and they're like, this sucks. This is the worst. Why did I do this?
Yeah.
And I think it's similar with games. Like you get into like originally that's why I started doing programming. Like, well, programming is going to give me the best option to actually get into a studio because that's when we were at PAX or not PAX when we were at GDC, you would see all these artists in a line waiting for someone, them to look at their portfolios for possibly an opportunity. Programmers would be like, I'm a programmer. They would get like special, like they would get like taken to the back of the line, like somewhere like to this other special room, and they go in this like nice office with a chair and like a wind, like they were like in an office room, and they would talk about programming and like maybe they give you a programming test. So to me I was like that's the way I want to go, and then like trying to get into programming is a lot harder than I thought. And it's not that I don't enjoy it because I do. It's
Yeah, it's
just
tough.
it's tough and you really have to be dedicated and really willing to put in the hours to learn it because it's really like learning another language in the sense of like it's not like speaking language either. It's like code writing language that you have to figure out. So
Yeah.
it's just a whole nother thing. So that's why I
Especially
think I'm bringing it up.
especially if you're self-taught.
Yeah, exactly.
Cuz I
So
mean, our school was mainly all about the sorry, I'm writing some code right now.
wow.
Our school was the degree was game art and design. It didn't really focus on programming. But what was funny was that we eventually had to learn programming because we had to make games inside of the engine. I could go on and on about how the school kind of like messed up in a couple ways on, how they went with the whole program, but I won't get into that. But
Yeah, I was gonna say
it
in their
was mainly
defense, they did talk to us both about, well, we're
yeah,
not really a programming school,
yeah, but
so
why
I understand.
have them
I
make
agree.
full games if you don't have programmers? But anyways,
Yeah,
it was mainly for, art, right? So, and then so we didn't really get like I don't know how to say it.
traditional programming
Yeah.
background
Yeah, we
education,
didn't
like computer
yeah.
science or anything like that.
Yeah, so all our stuff was, from Udemy courses. I think Udemy was just starting to blow up then too. So
It was.
there wasn't really all that too much on Unity. There was Ben's, which is awesome. Shout out to Game.TV. Woo. But but we had to do it pretty much all on our own. And that's tough. Especially you not only do you have to have like the drive and be driven to do it every single day, but you also have no direction. So you could
Right.
watch a tutorial or Udemy tutorial and everything could be working, everything could be awesome, and the way you're doing it works and all this stuff, but it might not be the best way to do it. And that's what studios look for. They look for, do you know the best way to do things? Do you know how to do these? They kind of like test you on traditional programming. Do you know inheritance? Do you know polymorphism? Do you know encapsulation? All this stuff. And a lot of these tutorials and everything don't really teach that. They might brush up on it, but they don't really dive into it and tell you what it's all about, how to implement it, and all this other stuff. Um, and all that stuff helps your code greatly. And they don't really talk about clean code either. They say, "Oh yeah, name your variables, so you know what they are. Name your methods so they know what they are." But then you see them make one method that does like 20 other things and is huge when all that could
Right.
be breaking down into their own little things. So if there is a problem, you know where to look and it's isolated within that small code block.
And that's why it's so hard to get in the industry. It's like it's like they have all these resources to try to learn how to do these programming, but no one, like you said, no one's like teaching you the proper traditional way or how it should be. I mean, I have books on like programming, and like I read them, and it blows my mind, but it's like it's still difficult to like, okay, but how does that get implemented? Like how do you do that though?
Yeah, especially how do I do that with Unity?
Right. And so it's definitely a difficult field to get into, especially for doing programming. I mean, art's a whole nother beast. If you're trying to do art, it's all about presentation and like showing, you got to show the best work that you possibly have. And it's really about feel. Like I've seen, talked to lots of people, and I've watched like documentaries and stuff on how it's all about what they need at that moment. Right. So
Yeah.
if they need a cave dungeon crawler type game, and you come up with all these open concepts of like a fantasy world, and there's like, it's a forest and it's waterfalls and bright colors, they're gonna be like, oh, that's really nice, but yeah, that's not kind of what we're looking for. So in their heads, they're not gonna say it out loud. They're gonna tell you what they think of your art and stuff, because it's just like an audition. If you're an actor, it's the same thing. They know what they kind of have in mind, and they see it, and so you're not right for the part. It's the same exact thing. This art's not really right for what we're looking for. And
Yeah.
so then they kind of like and then the next person comes up with like a cave, and it's all steampunk, and it's got this and mist, and there's some kind of like werewolf in the background or something. They're like, that's exactly what I'm thinking of, and you're like, what? So it's just that's how it is, and then that person gets the interview, and they get hired, and then they work for it, and then they keep going forward and forward, and so it's just pretty much the same thing. It's like we're trying to figure out how, like, exactly, not the correct formula, but trying to just get in. And a lot of them, when you listen to people talk about getting into the industry, it's all about, putting that work in, putting that effort in, and just keep going, keep going, keep going. And you're like, yes, but if I'm doing it wrong, like even if I keep doing it wrong, you're not going to hire me because realistically, they
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't. Like, because you'll show up with your portfolio and they'll be like, why are you doing this code this way? And you'll be like, I don't know. That's how I figured out to do it online. And they'll be like, oh, well, there's different ways you should do it. I would definitely recommend maybe this or that. All right, thank you for coming. Have a nice day. And you're like, but it still doesn't help me. So
Yeah.
it's definitely a difficult thing to really try to dive in and figure out. And that's what's surprising to me about Cody, even because he's been hard programming for 3 years, 4 years.
3
I have
years.
to
Yeah.
say 4 years, buddy,
Fine. Go
because
ahead.
we've been graduated for 2. So did you say 3?
I say 3. I
Three
say
and a half years.
like kind of professionally for 3.
Okay. So yeah, so it's like it's a difficult situation, and
I don't.
motivation, staying on top of it, being productive, trying, going for it. That's the only thing you could possibly do.
Yeah,
And
and
that's why I think there's so many indie companies popping up, is because they're like, well, fine, I'm just going to try something. I got.
yeah, I mean, either they'll like deny you, right, at the interview and say you didn't get the job, or they'll hire you, keep you for a month, and then be like, you're slowing us down. Bye. Which that sucks.
Yeah.
But especially if you're like relying on that money. But
Right.
the cool thing was
So,
about that company though is they tried to give me other jobs, like have me do QA and stuff like that. Um, so that was at least good, but it still sucks that that happened, and it was because I was slowing them down and my skills weren't too good. But lately I've been trying to read more books. I've been trying to find more so the right way to do stuff, and I think that's where we want this why we want kind of people to join the Discord. Like, don't be shy if we say join Discord and you're like, oh, I don't want to talk to people, I don't know, and stuff. Like, I get it. I mean,
I don't
honestly,
blame you. You should
honestly,
not
I don't
talk.
like talking to people either. Like when somebody
We love
says,
talking.
hey, you want to jump on a Skype for a meeting? I'm like, ah, fuck. But but I mean, it's we want this to be helpful, a nice, safe place where people can come, and if they're having problems and they're like, I've been rejected from these 3 jobs, can anybody help me? Then, if you're a programmer, maybe post some of your code, and we could look at it. Other programmers could look at it, give our input. Oh, well, maybe you should try doing stuff this way. Maybe you should read up on this with this book, look at this tutorial video to help. And then if you have any questions, just shoot them away. Just fire at us, and we could all just help each other out, get to where we want to be.
Yeah, and I mean, and that's the thing too, is like, if you have any questions, like anything, it's like we said in the very first video, we're not professionals by no means. Like we've worked it in the industry in the sense like that we've been doing it for a couple years now. Um, you know, us, we haven't released anything, so it's not like we could say, oh, we've been there, we've done that. We're working on it now, but we can still help. I mean, a conversations. It's the best way I think to learn is by having a conversation, because you learn so much more by just
Oh yeah.
being like, well, I'm kind of thinking about doing it this way, and then you go, okay, well, what about this, or why is it not working? Just getting a conversation going might help figure out a better solution, a better way,
Hmm.
some way to solve the problem that you're looking at or that you're having.
Yeah, and in programming, they call that get talking to your rubber ducky.
That's gets true.
A lot of
Yep.
people, a lot of programmers, will have rubber ducky or some inanimate object on their desk, and when they encounter a problem, they just talk to it. It's pretty much like talking through your head, but if you're talking out loud, it'll kind of register more, and you'll be able to think about it more, and it helps them solve problems. And not lying, it really does. I've done it too. I've even talked to my dog that'll be laying in the room. I'll be like, why isn't this working? I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I do this, it's doing this, and then I'm like, oh, maybe I should try this. Oh, it worked.
There you go.
But also, it's good. In the classes I've been taking for web development, they have a 20-minute rule. So if you're working on something and you're stuck on a problem for 20 minutes, ask for help. Cause yeah, we want, it's that whole thing where I don't want to ask for help. I want to figure it out myself, right? But if you
Yeah.
ask for help, not only will you get help to figure out why it's going wrong, but you'll also learn quicker and faster and be able to move on to the next thing and learn about the next thing quicker and faster. Um,
Yep.
but yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, if you're, and that's the thing too, is you got to make the mistakes in order to learn. I'm the kind of person, if I make 3 mistakes, but I've asked you 3 times for the same, like, how does that work? Wait, we did that the other day. How does that work again? By the third time, I'm like, okay, I halfway got it, but what was that last step? And then I don't have to ask help again. Like, I got it.
Yeah.
So, like, I think it's just like, like, that's why it's about the conversation, and that's why it's about the community, and that's why it's all about just trying to stay as motivated as you can. And just go for it. Like, I mean, if the way I try to live is like thinking about life in the sense of like, what do I not want to regret?
Hmm.
Like life, like there's so many things like, and the main reason why I'm doing this and trying so hard to get out there is because I don't want to go to work every single day of my life and just go to work and come home. Go to work and come home. I want to work. I think working. I mean, obviously, it's important. Not only that, but it's a self of feeling self confident, or it brings your self confidence up because you like feel like accomplished. You're like, I did something. Yeah, I went to work, but I want to do it because I want to be able to experience my life. I want to be able to enjoy life, and I think that by doing something you're passionate about, it doesn't feel so much like work. By collaborating and working with people on something that I'm enjoying, it doesn't feel like I'm just trapped behind a desk or doing whatever. Like I'm working on something greater than myself, and then I get to share it with the world. I mean, it's the coolest thing that you can actually just release something, and all of a sudden, millions of people, if they want to, have access to.
Yeah.
Like that's such a rush. And like not only that, but I could possibly work from home, and be around my family. I could have a laptop and go sit somewhere in the mountains and like probably have no Wi-Fi, but like enjoy nature or do whatever and like just enjoy the day. Like I don't know. That's just me. It's like philosophy for that's my philosophy. I just want to. I don't want to have anything that I wish I would have done, and I want to just be able to live life, as much as I can. So that's my passion. That's my thing for it. So I don't know how long, Cody. How long have we been doing it for?
5 hours? No.
5 hours.
About an hour
That'd
and
be
2 minutes.
fantastic. Oh, okay, good. We just want to make sure that we don't want to run these too long because like if you have an hour commute in your car, and you listen to these, that's one thing, But if you're sitting at your desk, maybe like I don't know, an hour. I don't know. And there's no pictures. These guys aren't even doing anything. There's no video. There's talking. Oh my gosh. So,
Yeah.
so yeah.
I
Go ahead.
usually listen to podcasts and stuff while I'm driving.
Yeah, yeah. I learned to do that from you. Actually, I started learning like podcast stuff from you. But like now I'm on a different. I don't listen to that like learning stuff because I've learned that if I listen to things that teach me, it doesn't work because I have to be doing it because I'm like, or I'll have to like rewind it 10 times because I'm like, wait, what? What?
Yeah.
I don't understand.
the
What
only
was that?
the only time I listen to stuff like that is like if I've already gone through it and then I just want to listen to it to try to like make it sink in better. So if there's a tutorial video and I go through it and I don't fully understand one part of it or the whole thing, I just got it to work because that's what the tutorial did. I'll
Hmm.
sometimes re-listen to it in the car. And because I already did it, I kind of know, what they're talking about and everything. But I I like to listen to uh game dev podcasts that just talk about game dev in general because that's always good to surround yourself around that type of stuff. Um, just to get you motivated in the mood. That kind of goes back to the motivation stuff. Um, but also like what I'm been listening to with this clean code. Uncle Bob. It's more so concepts, right? It's not really like he doesn't sit down at his computer and shows you everything on the screen. He's just talking about the concepts of it and all that stuff, which is also good to listen to and learn.
Right. Exactly.
But yeah, I guess that could be a topic for the next time, since we're already at an hour. Is
What?
kind of just surrounding yourself, how to just totally 100%, not 100%, but get more surrounded by just the topic of game development in general if you're trying to get in the field.
And that would be coming to our YouTube channel and subscribing.
Near you.
So you can get the latest. What is it? I think people say, oh, so you can get notifications on when we post a new thing. No, I'm just kidding. We're not those kind of people.
But
At least
like
I'm
and
not.
subscribe.
But like and subscribe. Yeah. I honestly don't even know what it does for us. So
I don't know. I just know that if we get so much, we could start putting a whole bunch of ads and making money.
wow. Wow. Which we will try to avoid.
Yeah.
Because it's about building a community.
Unless we're really hurting. If we're really hurting,
yeah.
I'm gonna put
which we are. So
every second.
We have a patron, don't we, Cody? So then just go to that.
We
if
do.
you don't want ads on your YouTube channel.
No, we might put like one ad at the beginning of a video, but we won't like flood it like some people do with like, oh, I'm gonna put 2 here, 1 here.
No, I would say it's reason if we do end up doing ads, say it would be reasonable to do it every 30 minutes, so like that, like you said, it'd either be one halfway and then one at the end.
It'll be as if we were a legit podcast and had a sponsor.
Oh my gosh, we could get sponsors? What?
Who wants to sponsor us? We'll advertise your product or whatever to the 5 viewers we have.
Well, we can't say that though, see, because like when we wake up one day, we're gonna look and it's gonna be like 20,000, and we're like, oh, and they're gonna be like, what do they mean only 5 of us?
That's true, huh?
5 times 20,000.
As of May 24th, 2019.
So, and that's another thing that like Cody was saying, on here, if you have questions about anything, like I said, I try to do the game design stuff aspect and level design stuff. Cody's worked in that too. So if you have questions about that stuff, like how do I make this game this way, or I was thinking about that, or what might be good, we can just talk about it. We're not saying we're gonna try to take your game over. We want to see your code. We want to see your game. We want to see your game. We don't want your source. We don't want you to give us like a file. That's not what we're saying. But if you have questions, we're here.
Yeah. And if you are one of those people that don't really like talking or whatnot, or just not used to communicating with a bunch of people on a Discord or something like that, you could always just join the Discord. You don't have to talk. Just look for Lazy Goblin Cody or Lazy Goblin Johnny, and you could send us a question, and we'll do it that way. And if you want it on the podcast, because we want to try to do a Q&A on the podcast, so we might save it for the podcast. And if we do save it for the podcast, say if we were like busy throughout the week or something, and we answer it on the podcast, you could just let us know if you want it to be anonymous or not.
Yeah.
Because if you don't want your name out there or anything, that's fine. We'll just say, hey, I want this to be anonymous. Can you answer this on your next podcast? And we'll be like, yeah, sure. And we won't say anything.
Exactly. And we'll definitely respond to them. And if we get a lot of questions, it might be something where we'll do questions in the beginning, and then we'll talk about something else, or show you what we're doing or how we're implementing things on our game. There.
Exactly.
Yeah. So we'll do all that stuff.
That definitely.
I'm probably gonna go over to Discord now and say hi to people.
Yeah. I mean, the people in there we already have a nice group of people going on right now. So don't be scared to pop in and say hi.
We'll kick him out.
Don't be scared to go in there and say hi. don't be scared to just join and just sit there. That's fine too. You can just be an observer until you feel comfortable to start talking. But for sure, go and do that. We have a bunch of sections in there. We have a place to talk about all the game engines. We have a place to talk about for people to suggest videos on game design. We have a place where people can post their art, and they can post it in a feedback channel if they want feedback. But yeah, it's just we're all there to help each other out.
And I want to make another one that's like a current topic. So like maybe we'll throw in like, hey, I just saw this new thing got released or is going to get released for game stuff. What do you guys think?
Oh, that's a
Stuff
good
like
idea.
that. I'd like to have like a current topic, something we're talking about for the week or whatever.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I gotta give you permission to do that.
That would be nice.
But yeah, don't
He
be
doesn't trust
afraid
me.
to join the Discord. If you click like or subscribe or anything out of this, join the Discord. I'd rather you do that one than the others, because in the Discord you'll get notifications on everything when a new video goes out and all that stuff, and you get the community aspect. So
Exactly. Because it's all about the community.
exactly, which was the title of our last video. Now what are we gonna do for this one?
Yep, it was. See, that's why I bring it full circle.
What's
So with that, I think we'll say keep creating, and we'll talk to you guys next week.
Yeah, talk to you all next week. Hopefully we get some questions in there. Some new faces in the Discord. Can't wait to see you all. All right, guys. Take care. Bye.
Bye.